Hey everybody, it's been a long time since I've done any video, let alone a root beer thoughts video. Today I'm drinking Dang That's Good Butterscotch Root Beer. It's a root beer I picked up at a local place. Liz and I are now in Lafayette, Indiana, where I used to live before. I actually moved back to my home city and that's where I met Liz, and then we planned for our big trip. We have been up in Lafayette for a little over a month now since the last video we made where we reviewed our trip. We are actually planning our next adventure. No details yet because things are kind of up in the air on that. Today's mostly going to be like a video of recalibrating with you guys and just letting you know what we're up to, and it's also kind of going to be a part 3 of my debt slaying videos. If you haven't seen my first few debt slaying videos, I'll link them in the description so you can go watch those first for context to see what's up. So that's pretty good. I never would have even thought of butterscotch root beer actually, and yeah, I like it. So anyhow, we came up here to Lafayette. We're actually in an Airbnb. We've been here for a little over a month. We've got a couple weeks left. We're going to be in a tight spot here in a couple weeks where it's going to be find another Airbnb because we'll be out of time on this one, or go ahead and move forward with what we're doing. Although that's kind of tight. And what we're doing is my friends Scott and Francine, they're actually expanding onto their house right now because in the future they want to lease their house out, like kind of like Airbnb style, or maybe more long term. But they're wanting to rent out their house, and so they're going to make it bigger so they can increase the value of it. So Liz and I are actually going to move into their house with them and help them build onto it, in exchange for cheap rent, even though it won't really be rent. It'll just be kind of us living there and helping them out, and them helping us out by keeping our expenses down, so we can focus on paying the last little bit of debt that hung on from before we started traveling. Now, as previously stated in the debt slaying videos, from April of 2014 to April of 2015, Liz and I paid off a little over $32,000 in debt. Now, that debt was 2 cars, a credit card, and like the couch we bought, so that wasn't insane. It was like $500 or something like that. But anyway, we're all together. There might have been a few other things I'm not even thinking now because it's been so long, but altogether it was about $33,000. Oh, and also a big chunk of student loans too. We took out a very big chunk of Liz's student loans and a decent piece of mine, I guess. But the entire time we were traveling, we were actually paying student loans. I mentioned that before, but I want to keep this clear to people. If you have a low interest debt and you're comfortable with it, you can go ahead and travel. Just let it go on autopilot for a little bit. Don't do it with something with very high interest because it'll just be a nightmare for you to deal with later on. But we felt comfortable enough with what was left of our student loans to just let it go. So it's been on autopilot for over a year now, putting out $180 every month. That's divided to both of our student loans, $90 a piece, which is our minimum. Over the past 8 or 9 months, I guess, since we started traveling, because we've traveled for a little over 6 months. We've been back for almost 2 months. It's been autopilot for a little bit before we left. There has been, I want to say, $1,600 go toward student loans, something like that. So we're going to start focusing on finishing off Liz's student loans, and we're going to use the same method we did before, the rollout. We're just going to just unload. Hers are so close to being paid off that once we start focusing, maybe next month or 2, then we'll just take out her loans and then we'll focus on mine, since mine are a little bit higher. Not higher interest, but just higher amount because she's been out of school longer than me. So anyhow, what we're up to up here, we came up here and just kind of hung out for the first week or so. Got used to our, tried to adapt back to American lifestyle a little bit and get reacquainted with the area and the friends. And Liz had never lived up here before, but it's a very nice town, so it didn't take much convincing her. She got a job very, very quickly at a dentist office. I've mentioned before she's a dental assistant. Well, a dental office here hired her as a receptionist for higher pay, not a lot, like 12 cents on the hour more than what she got paid back office at her old dental office. So eventually she will move back office when they need her, and her pay will probably go up again. So yeah, now she's just a receptionist and makes more money than she did back office down in. She actually worked in Kentucky. We lived in Southern Indiana, but so she drove across state lines. So she makes more here as a receptionist, a little bit, than she did as a back office assistant there. Me, I just kind of hung out for a while. I had to get my ingrown toenail fixed again. It was messed up again, so I got the permanent surgery. And, excuse me, that is really good. Anyway, I had to get the permanent surgery. I didn't have to, I chose to. So that way it would never go back. And it put me off my feet a little bit, so I just kind of hung out for the first couple of weeks, whatever, let that heal. And I ended up getting a job at a car wash. I absolutely love it. I clicked immediately with the boss. He is a relatively new general manager there. Been there maybe 2 months, but he has history in the business. So he's basically been hiring only people that he clicks with very well, and we had a great introduction conversation during the interview, and he hired me, and I've been there a couple weeks now, and it's awesome. Not super high pay, it's not a lot of hours, but I'm wanting less hours anyway. That's something I've learned overseas, is to spend more time for myself. Thankfully, Liz has too. In the 3 years I've known Liz, she has always worked 6 days a week between 2 different jobs. And since we came back from traveling, I didn't want her to go back to that. She didn't want her to go back to that. So her dentist office is only working her 4 days a week with a half day every other Friday rotating. So both of us have lower hours, still a decent amount of pay between the two of us, and it gives me time to focus on other projects I'm trying to do to accumulate wealth for myself. So yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, to wrap this whole thing up, I just kind of want to say that we have a few long-term goals that we're planning out, but more on that later, as I said. Right now, just in a clear span of time, we just want to try to make ourselves debt-free by the end of the year, completely debt-free. I think that's very possible. In fact, I think it's more than possible, and we'll see what happens. We just been spending a lot of time just reflecting. Our time in Asia was very precious. We'll never ever lose that, and that's part of why I have this YouTube channel, so we can always go back and look at that. But anyway, for those of you who follow my channel and just been wondering what's up, yeah, we're fine, we're happy, we're healthy, and we're planning for another adventure. So thank you guys for watching Travel and Root Beer.